What's up guys, this is Miasin. So today we'll be doing something very interesting that I've already done in the past, but I also said that I would do it again in the future because obviously my opinion on certain cards and the format around it would change over time, which makes sense. Obviously you can't always think the exact same way forever. But yeah, this time we're going to be going over every single banned monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! And try to figure out if they could get unbanned. So I do have 4 categories right here. So the completely safe to come back to 3, the unbanned to 1, just to see if they would actually destroy the game or not. So they could just go back to being banned, worst case. And then the cards that would absolutely need a disgusting errata to come back, and the cards that just absolutely cannot come back whatsoever. So yeah, it's going to be a really good one, and I really recommend watching until the very end so you don't miss out on any of my explanations. But before we go any further, we already know the drill. Smash the like and subscribe button. It really motivates me a lot to keep breathing, and with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so first things first is Ronin Totem, which honestly, low-key, I think you can actually unban, and it wouldn't really change that much. Sprite Elf is still banned, so at least you don't have like everything for the Sprite deck. And maybe, and I said maybe, the Sprite deck got power crept by every other mid-range deck that already exists, like Raziel, for example. Maybe Raziel is better than Sprite now. Honestly, I have no idea, but I think Ronin Totem is the kind of card that we could see go back to 1. And I honestly don't think it would destroy the game. As a matter of fact, there is no difference between Ronin Totem to 1 and Ronin Totem to 3. But still, I just want to unban the card just to see what happens first. Chaos Ruler, I'm not gonna lie, it would need a disgusting errata if it wants to come back, because this card will always age well forever. A card that excavates 5 freaking cards and adds one of them and sends the rest to the grave, and is generic, especially with how broken certain like splashable engines are, how easy it is to summon a level 8 synchro now. Like the Magistus engine is also getting better and better, and you can easily go for like a Chaos Ruler and like a rank 4 with like a single card combo. Yeah, maybe that's a little too much, so I think Chaos Ruler, if you want to have it back, maybe it's going to need like a light tuner and a dark non-tuner or something like to make it super hard to summon, or like prevent you from like activating the effects of like the monsters that you foolished. Something like that, I don't know. Nightmare Mermaid. The issue with Nightmare Mermaid is that if it comes back, it would be not even necessarily that much of an issue for Orchest. I think the main problem with Nightmare Mermaid is actually summoning Ibli and then giving Ibli to the opponent. But then again, you can say you can go Gigantic, summon the Ibli, and then still give an Ibli to your opponent. And Gigantic is also like kind of generic to summon. You just need 2 monsters, then you go for a Link 2, and then, well, technically you need like 4 monsters if you play 0 level 2 monsters. Everybody's just gonna start playing Nightmare Mermaid so that they can counter Ibli. So I think this card is kind of like fair in a way, but only if you like really respect it, and nobody's really trying to like dedicate slots to their extra deck to like Nightmare Mermaid or like Lingerebo and stuff like that. So preferably I wouldn't want to have this card back in Yu-Gi-Oh, but still, we could technically unban it just to see what happens. Appaloosa got banned recently, so I'm obviously not even gonna make a point about it, but if Appaloosa were to be once per turn or something, then obviously it could come back, but that would be absolutely disgusting. Or if it couldn't negate monster effects in the hand, because this card being like a super convenient Nibiru counter, nah, a little too much for me. Okay, MX Saber Invoker, I can't really think of like any deck that would really try to abuse this. Like even the Goblin Biker deck that can easily make rank 3s, or like Material Actress, for example, you wouldn't really try to play MX Saber Invoker for them in them. So honestly, I don't really think that this card is much of an issue. Jin Releaser of Rituals, maybe this card could make Necros good again. The issue is it could also make Voices Voice good again. Hold on a second. I don't even know if like this card is always treated as the full ritual for like anything. I don't think so though. Jin Releaser of Rituals. You can banish this card as one of the materials required for the ritual summon, blah, blah, the other... Yeah, it's kind of like way too good if you manage to pull it off. It's really hard to search, but then you can go Cherubini, send it to the graveyard. Honestly, I would rather not have this card around in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anything that says you can't special summon monsters at all doesn't deserve to live. And to be fair, that's kind of like the issue that Nightmare Mermaid into Ibli has, but then again, you can counter it by playing a Link 1 in your extra deck. Blackwing Gofu, the Big Shadow, would have to lock you under like Dark Synchros only for the rest of the turn so that it's only good in Blackwing. Obviously, if you can summon Link monsters with the tokens that you generate, that's a little too good. So yeah, it would need an errata, but I could easily see this card come back. It's not the issue, it's just that the card would have to pretty much only be good in its own deck, which for some reason I feel like this card and some other Blackwing monsters even have been abused generically over the years, which is really sad. I feel bad for Blackwing players, man. It's always the same thing. It's like if they steam the cloak because of Needle Fiber, god damn, leave them alone. Anyways, Galaxy Tomahawk. Yeah, this card, it's like the same issue as Gofu. It just summons 5 freaking tokens, which is way too much. Right now, we have Draco Sack, which is basically Galaxy Tomahawk at home. So I think that's already good enough as it is. If we have like a Draco Sack that summons freaking 5 tokens instead of 2, clearly that's way too much. So yeah, we already have another card that does the same. This card does not deserve to get unbanned. Maxi obviously will never get unbanned. Again, I know this for a fact. And also the OCG, I think even they are trying to move away from Maxi just because of the existence of the Molchamis. They really did have a huge impact on Yu-Gi-Oh! Because now we have like 9 Maxi-like monsters, even in the TCG, because obviously Neolus is coming out. That's the one from Graveyard and Banished, by the way, and it was really predictable ever since we got the effect of Foros. We knew for a fact that we would get a third one that would do that. The only question is, what will the 4th Molchami monster do? And Maxi is way too much. If we have like Maxi and a bunch of Molchami monsters running around, you just never play the game. It's not even fair. This card's good going first and second, whereas the Molchamis, they're inherently balanced because they're only good going second, which is fine. It doesn't also reward the player that's going first and draws it. So yeah, this card cannot come back. The Dandelion would need a stupid errata, or not even, even if it locks you under plants only, it's still broken. You can make the Sun Avalon link 1 with this and then summon 2 monsters. You go into Jasmine, and it's a 1-card full combo. This card is extremely stupid. There is absolutely no shot I can see Dandelion getting unbanned with the exact same effect it has right now. Okay, Elder Entity Norden is one of the most interesting cards out there. And the reason why it's interesting is because it got banned for a reason that I think is completely different than the reason why I think it is still banned. So it got banned because of Fusion Substitute Zodiac, because people were going instant fusion to Norden, revive back whatever, and then Fusion Substitute, loop back the Norden, keep drawing cards over and over, resolving Daigusto Emerald like freaking like 7 times in a turn. They would draw like 8 cards easy in Fusion Substitute Zodiac. So that was the main issue with Norden, but if you look at the summoning condition for Norden, you need a Synchro or an Xyz monster with a Synchro or an Xyz monster. So what people see from Norden is an instant fusion target, and what I see from Norden is a super poly target. So I think the main reason why I want Norden to come back is because it would allow cards like super poly to turn the full Raziel board, so Detonator and the Do Drive or Baguska or whatever, into Norden, and then you can revive back whatever you discarded. And honestly, I think that's kind of fair game as long as Instant Fusion comes back. So that would be like the trade-off that you need. If Norden comes back, then you gotta ban Instant Fusion. Either way, even with Instant Fusion running around, because of the completely insane state of the power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh!, I don't even think it's gonna be that relevant, so I think Norden is the kind of card that is kind of fine nowadays. But then again, if we get this back as a super poly target, oh boy, is the format gonna be very interesting. Raziel is gonna be getting checked by a single card. Anyways, Artifact Scythe is also a very interesting one because we have it in the OCG. Well, I mean, they have it. And it is absolutely nasty because even if you don't draw the Sanctum, even if you draw the Scythe, which historically speaking has always been bad, you can make a Detonator and then destroy your own Scythe, or even a Tornado Dragon so that you can do it proactively, which is not really nice. And also you can go 7 Tachyon or 7th Ascension into Tachyon, search Artifact Scythe, and then destroy it that way, so it's actually easier to get access to Scythe than it is to Sanctum. This card is a turn skipper, and because of that, it cannot get unbanned, and I can't really think of like an errata to like get back this card. As a matter of fact, if anything, I actually think that this card is gonna get banned in the next OCG ban list. It's way too annoying. And also Dimensional Bear and stuff like that. Anyways, Masterpiece, the True Draco Slinking. I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the more fair cards in the ban list. It's actually very interesting that it's still banned. It's a card that is very powerful, but in a very bad deck, quote-unquote. It's a very old deck that is just obsolete nowadays. Beatrice, same thing as Appaloosa. I'm not really gonna say too much about a card that has been banned recently, so obviously it shouldn't get unbanned. Gumblar Dragon, bro, this card is so stupid. You can't unban a card that just hand loops your opponent, because now if there's ever a board breaker format, this is basically just FTK 2.0. No, this card does not deserve to come back in Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. Outer Entity Azathoth is a very, very interesting one, and I think that because of the fact that we already have Kali Yuga, it's not really the main issue with this card is not even summoning it on the opponent's turn, because again, we already have like an FTK if we have the bad rank up magic, whatever. The issue isn't that. The issue is rather summoning Azathoth on your own turn off of Nyarla. But I actually think that this is rather fair because, whatever, you're gonna have to make a rank 4 before you start playing the game so that if your opponent has like other handshops, then whatever, like Veiler, Ash, etc., Ogre, those cards are not gonna do anything. But now think about it. There is Imperm, there is Impulse, there is a Molchamis, there is Drool. There's a lot of cards that either linger or that or are trap cards that can kind of be used to mitigate the impact of Outer Entity as a thought. Again, used on your own turn. Low-key, I think this card is fine, because again, the way I see it is it's a way to deny your opponent's hand traps when you combo off on your own turn, or also in order to like shut down every other option that your opponent has when you're trying to crack a board going second, which yet again I do think is fair game. So I think Outer Entity as a thought going back, getting unbanned would actually be fine. Also, there's no difference between 1, 2, and 3 as a thought. It's not like MX Saber Invoker and Nightmare Mermaid, where I'm not sure if those cards would be fine for Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's the reason why they were here. Same thing with Ronin Totem, obviously. Those cards, I can literally guarantee you money that if we unban them, they're not going to destroy Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. Mecha Phantom Beast Orodon is also a very interesting one. I think the card is worse than Needle Fiber because it requires you to play some actual bad cards. Phoenician Cluster Amaryllis, that is viable in the Plant FTK deck. I don't know much about it, so I can't really say too much. So maybe it would need like a Nasty Errata to come back, maybe like once per turn or something, because the goal is, I think, to go Topology Gumlord Dragon, and then you revive back... Hold on a second. No, you revive back Samsara Lotus, and then you revive that back this, and then you burn your opponent for damage or something. I forgot, honestly, but... Glow Bulb, yeah, obviously this card can come back to 3, nobody would care. That's actually the worst card in the ban list. I think it is the only card in the ban list, maybe, that is literally garbage. Not even, like, fair or not that good. Like, actual trash. This card would not see play, even if it gets unbanned. It's literally just that shit. I think Jet Synchron is actually better than Glow Bulb. The fact that it's once per duel is already a huge turnoff. It doesn't matter that you don't have to discard a card. I really don't care. Honestly, screw Glow Bulb. It's literally just irrelevant. Electrum, preferably not unbanned, because then Pendulums become really good through hand traps, like Nibiru especially. There's also the Molchemy cards and stuff like that. This deck loses very hard to like all of them. Maybe even harder to like Pearlia, because you need a normal summon, and then you need like a push card, and then you also need like Astrograph summons, your Pendulum summon from hand. Yeah, you're giving a lot of draws to your opponent very, very quickly. Electrum, I guess Pendulums in general, but like Electra makes them like particularly broken. But then again, it still loses to like hand traps in general, which I don't even think this deck is good into a hand trap format that also can't play hand traps. So technically, it's kind of fine. If this card could be locked to like only Metal Foes, that would be beautiful, because obviously, I'm a huge Metal Foes fan. I love this deck so much, so yeah, that would be nice, actually. Come back with an errata, there you go. Okay, Prank Kids, Meow Meow Mew. I actually hate Prank Kids. I despise that deck from the bottom of my heart. But I will have to admit, this card, it could come back, and Prank Kids is... I mean, obviously, it's a good deck, but it's not that relevant considering, like, every other one-card combo deck out there. Whatever, who cares? And also, you play way too many normal summons, so sometimes you just draw a hand of, like, 3 Pranked monsters, you can't do shit, and then you activate your fusion spell, you get hit by Retailing Sea, and you cry. Okay, Kelbeck, obviously, where there is a Kelbeck, there is also a Guido. Honestly, I don't really want this card back. It would need, like, somewhat of an errata or something, but I don't even think I would want to, like, errata a card like Kelbeck. And, hold on, where is Agido? I can't really see it. Maybe I'm blind, maybe I'm stupid, or maybe both. There we go. Yeah, okay, Agido, Kelbeck, same thing. I don't really feel super strong about them, because the decks that can use those cards aren't even that great anyways. As a matter of fact, they kind of suck. It's like Lightsworn and Tear Elements. So they can't play hand traps. They're inherently, like, kind of bad going second, especially into, like, shifter formats where it'll definitely be, like, more present next format, because Malice and Raziel can't play shifter. So yeah, no, not a fan of, like these cards. I mean, what I'm trying to say is I don't like those cards, but I don't think that those cards would necessarily be, like, the reason why, like, Tear and Lightsword would be super cracked. Borlord Savage Dragon. Yeah, we have, like, too many Omni Negates running around already, and we're also gonna have, like, a Code Talker at Ignister. And again, Burlo Savage Dragon and Baron de Fleur, literally same exact argument. Where is Baron? Okay, there we go. And join your brother in hell. Okay, the Super Heavy Samurai Link 1 monster, another very interesting one. This card is obviously really good in this pure Super Heavy Samurai deck, because that's the reason why it becomes, like, a pure deck. Because you can turn, like, the Soul Piercer or something. I forgot that, like, the Ballista or, like, the Catapult into a one-card combo, because otherwise without it, then it doesn't really do much of anything. And yeah, it has a Monster Reborn effect and everything. It's a really good card. As a splashable engine, it's already a bunch of bricks, and nobody's really playing it right now. Technically, like, still make it work, even without the Link 1. I almost think that the card could easily come back to 3, and it wouldn't really change anything, but just for safety measures, I'm gonna put it there. Yeah, Magical Scientist definitely can't come back. I mean, it can if you, like, errata it. If, like, whatever, you can only use the effect once per turn. And so, in other words, it would have to, like, be once per turn and negate the effect of whatever monster you summon and do something else. It would have, like, a triple drawback. Otherwise, it's still way too good. Lavalval Chain. Bro, I swear to God, I want to see the world burn. Actually, no, never mind. Yeah, I take that back. Yeah, Raziel is a deck that can spam rank 4s. Yeah. Last format, I think Lavalval Chain was fine because we had Beatrice that was actually worse than Lavalval Chain because the Fiendsmith engine allowed you to make like free rank 6s. But now it's rather the Raziel deck that makes rank 4s. I'm not really willing to see what Lavalval Chain could do in Raziel. Probably not too much, like send Black Gold Laughs or something. Because again, you're locked into rank 4, so it's not like you can send like a Floodgate and then like Nightmare Griffin it back or something. But yeah, preferably no Lavalval Chain. Mathmech Circular. Again, I want to see the world burn. Oh, and I love the deck too, so that would be really nice. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think so. These Cybers decks are getting more support in Alliance Insight, so maybe that could be a good reason to unban the card. It could make sense. Link Rebo, again, same exact argument as like Baron, Borlode, Appaloosa, Beatrice. This card has been banned recently, so not too much to say here. Nightmare Goblin is low-key not that great by the time you get to summon it because it has to be in like the main monster zone. You committed so much, like you're already like susceptible to all your opponent's combos, hand traps, and like unless like you had like Firewall to also recycle back a bunch of cards, it doesn't really do too much. And also Firewall is like a mere shadow of what he used to be, so I don't really think that Nightmare Goblin would really like push anything to be like way too unfair. The Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom bullshit. I think the fusion monster is like the real problem, not really this card. Or actually, no, I take that. To be fair, there's a lot of cards with like the exact same effects almost in the battle. It's like there's this, and then hold on a second. Well, I mean, I said a lot, but really just the Tyrant Neptune and Supreme Dragon Starving Venom. So yeah, these ones, I don't really know. Maybe if like they prevent like you from dealing damage for the rest of the turn after you use their effects, or like deal half damage, that would already be like good enough. Yeah, okay, Victory Dragon shouldn't be in this list because it's not a real Yu-Gi-Oh card. Fiendsmith Lacrima, again, same thing, right? It got banned recently, so it's just gonna have to be with, like, its sister. Eclipse Wyvern, oh, this one's a very interesting one. We still don't have LP, so I really wonder how good Eclipse Wyvern would be without, like, the whole Guard Dragon family. Clearly, this card's really good. The goal was to go, you know, send the Eclipse Wyvern to the grave. You banish, like, a Levinier or Chaos Emperor Dragon of Armageddon or something like that. And then you go, like, Pisty, revive back or something. No, hold on a second. Then you banish it, and then you get back whatever you banish with the Eclipse Wyvern. And then you can just loop this again with Pisty. And there's a lot of, like, really nasty combos in the... Not really in Dragon Link. It was rather in, like, Danger Thunder, Crusadia, Guard Dragon, which really made this card, like, a little too good. I swear to God, Zodiac Drancia can actually get unbanned and nobody would really care too much, especially not in the Zodiac deck. As a matter of fact, I actually think Zeus is a better Zodiac monster than any of the Zodiac Xyz monsters out there nowadays. Anyways, Crystron, Needle Fiber, hell nah, absolutely not. This is way worse than Auradon. Actually, though, maybe it could get unbanned if it gets an errata to, like, lock you under machine monsters only for the rest of the turn, so that it's only good in Crystron. That would be nice because Crystron is also getting new support from Supreme Darkness. I just thought of that. Otherwise, obviously, it would be like in this section. But because of the new Crystron support, unbanning Needle Fiber is actually legitimate. But there's no way you can unban this card without errata. That is literally just impossible. Shockmaster, I can't even think of like an errata for this one. The effect is way too simple. It's like, what are you gonna do? Like, oh, now the effect only applies to you. Why would I play the card? Yeah, you either make it completely unplayable or it's still way too unfair. And also, Raziel can easily turbo this card out. Hell nah. Fairy Tail Snow. Low-key, I think this card could go back to 1. Again, preferably not, but think about it. Every deck that can play Fairy Tail Snow is shit. They're all garbage. It's like Tier, Lightsworn, what else? Like a 60-card, like, stupid scam deck. And then you try your best to mill this card. Beatrice is banned. Curious is banned. How are you even getting this to the graveyard? Like, there's almost, like, no way of, like, religiously having access to, like, foolishing this card. And, again, if it's, like, at 1, it's not the same thing as if it was a 3. We could actually unban it just to see what happens, but then, again, Fairy Tail Snow has been in and out of the ban list infinite times. I can't even, like, think. I've seen this card get unbanned, like, 3 times or something already. Okay, yeah, Level Eater, I can't even think of, like, a way this card can get unbanned without an errata. I would have to be once per turn, but Yeah, obviously this one is a simple one. Like if you unban Level Eater without an errata, then the card just breaks Yu-Gi-Oh! Like on the spot. Guard Dragon Argapane. This one is actually very interesting because in theory, all it does, quotation mark, is summon Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, or maybe like another broken level 12 synchro, I don't know. When you think about it, like it's extremely good, but it's not like it summons 5 negates on its own. It's not like Guard Dragon LP where you can do like extremely stupid things. So you can argue maybe unban the card, put it back to 1 just to see. Well, again, there's no difference between 1 and 3, but unlike these cards right here, I don't think that this card is completely safe to come back. But every single Dragon deck right now is just underwhelming in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the current moment. Utopic Zexal, I think this card, yeah, okay, so yeah, this card was banned because of the Numeron engine, but I don't even think that's the reason why this card has to stay on the ban list, because there's another way of summoning this card. You can also Xyz summon this card by discarding 1 rank of magic normal spell, then using a Utopia monster you control as the Xyz material. I think the problem is that you can go 3 level 4s, make Alambertian, search like one of the Utopia monster that searches a rank of magic, and then you summon it, and Utopia monster, and then you discard your rank of magic, you summon this, and then you kind of just win the game. So yeah, this card is kind of bullshit, and I'd rather, again, not have these kinds of cards running around. Yeah, no, actually, I'm not even trying to like justify it. Yeah, you can stay in the ban list, my friend. Okay, Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon is dumb. I can't think of an errata for it either, so maybe like if it has to like banish your dragons instead of sending them to the grave, but then it becomes like way too garbage. I don't know, this card's way too broken. It's way too good. It foolishes 3 freaking dragons from the deck to the graveyard as a cost. Like, it would have to, like, prevent you from using their effects on the turn they were sent, and even then it would still be broken, because then you just send, like, a Morphage Goliath and the other dragon that revives back on your opponent's standby phase, and it's still good. So yeah, no, I really can't think of, like, any way to make this card, like, okay to come back in Yu-Gi-Oh! As a matter of fact, that was the reason why it got banned in the first place. But yeah, Isolde is also not the kind of card that I want back, because it's just generically abusable. It turns like warrior decks into like this abomination of a bullshit pile. It's just, I'd rather want them to like have natural support instead of them becoming like a warrior turbo deck that just vomits a lot of bricks in order to make like 10 negates. Preferably not, like I said. Summon Sorceress is obviously gonna get unbanned, but with an errata, so yeah. Again, this card should not be in this video. I don't even know why it's here. Odd Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. No, again, same thing as Beatrice and Apple and every other card that got banned recently. Tempest Magician is only good in shit decks, but it's very unfair because it FTKs you. So yeah, in theory, it could easily get unbanned with like a very small errata just to make it so that you can't FTK with this card. Or like, I don't know, I can't even think of like an errata that would make it fair. Because this card is not a real Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's never seen play outside of like an FTK deck, unfortunately. Rongo is also a very bullshit card that can easily be summoned off of Numbers Eve. Yeah, this card, if your opponent controls a monster, special summon from the extra deck, and if you do not, choose 4 number Xyz monsters from your extra deck with different ranks, plus a 5th number Xyz monster whose number value in its name equals the combined number value of the 4 other monsters. Special summon that 5th number monster. This is treated as an Xyz summon, and attach the 4 chosen monsters to it as material, but you can't special summon monsters except number Xyz monsters while you control that face-up monster. So in other words, you can make a Rongo with 4 materials going second, and if you used Dominus Purge, you cannot use dark effects for the rest of the duel, which means that Rongo never loses a material, which is a little unfair when you think about it. So yeah, again, I really don't want a card like this to come back, especially when you can easily prevent yourself from using the effect of Rongo, like the maintenance, like detach effect, because it's still something that you gotta activate. Like back in the days, people were going like sales ban, declaring Rongo so that their opponent cannot use the effect of Rongo for the turn, but you can't use it for the duel. So yeah, we still have something similar in the TCG. Anyways, Cyberstein is actually a card I could see getting unbanned. It's a level 2, but the reason why it got banned is because you could go Sprite Sprint, send it, and then Sprite Elf revive back, and then effect summon Cyberstein. No, hold on a second, that made no sense. Summon Natura Exterio or Last Warrior or something. There was also like a lot of ways to like out Last Warrior if all you do is normal summon Cyberstein, effect summon Last Warrior Pass, you go, okay, Ultimate Slayer, bounce back, Imperm, negate, droplet, negate. But obviously, if you don't have the out, then you're just going to be setting monsters until you draw into the out, because your opponent is taking like 50 years to kill you. So that's the reason why I think even the worst case scenario is it's not even that annoying. Oh, by the way, all those outs except from Imperm, they also apply to Nature Exterio, like Droplet and Ultimate Slayer. Again, you cannot summon this card from the deck with Gigantic Sprite. Well, you can, but it does nothing, because now you can't summon like non-level 2 or rank 2 or link 2 monsters for the rest of the turn, which means you can't summon jack shit with this card. Okay, Predaplan Verte Anaconda. If we unban this card, it brings literally nothing positive to the game. It just allows like more stupid, like splashable BS cards to come back. No, yeah, this card's not coming back. Grinder Golem is also not coming back, except if it becomes once per turn. Yeah, this card is like an infinite loop almost with Firewall, Akashic Magician, Security Dragon, all those cards. I do remember like it was yesterday. Simorg Link 3. It could get unbanned. Actually, I think it should get unbanned. This card does nothing. Yeah, it literally just does not. It could come back completely. I don't even know why it's why I put it here. Same thing with Cyberstein, by the way. Fiber Jar, yeah, that's the shittiest card in the ban list for sure. It's a flip effect. Who cares? Union Carrier, bro. There's new ABC support, so it should get unbanned. I'm not gonna lie though, we can't have this and Dragon Buster Destruction Sword coexisting at the same time. And right now we do have Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, which makes sense considering the fact that there is new Buster Blader support, and it's really good, by the way. So having both of those cards would not be good, but if it gets errata so that it's only good in its own deck, you know, ABC, that would be completely fine. And yo, this card in ABC is freaking beautiful. I really mean it. Like, you can easily crack through like a bunch of interruptions with this card. You get a hand shot on everything, and then you just have 2 monsters. You make Union Carrier, equip to yourself, get Union Driver, and then summon like a letter. And then you got the whole alphabet. Merry Christmas. Okay, the no, that's not Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark. I'm stupid. This is the Wind-Up Carrier. I don't even know what I'm saying. Zenmighty? Something like that. I don't even know their names. I just know what they do. This is the exact same shit as MX Saber Invoker. The only difference is that this is only good in a terrible deck, so it could actually go back to 3 and nobody would bat an eye. Zodiac Broadbow is a little better than Drancia, but then again, who cares? Who's trying to play Zodiac cards? And they're actually, to be fair, this one can search any Beast Warrior that can be normal summoned. So I wouldn't really want that back generically in Yu-Gi-Oh! That might be a little too good. You know, the good old days were you were getting access to Bujin Hiroko, and then you made Kagutsuchi, mail 5 freaking cards, and then you go Hiroko, transform into Susano, search another Hiroko, and then make another Kagutsuchi. So with one single Zodiac Rat, you could mail 10 freaking cards from your deck. So that basically translated to like drawing a lawn mowing. Or you could go into like Amaterasu. I really feel like I'm in Naruto right now. And then you can go Fairy Tail Snow, banish a bunch of cards, like banish like Hand Shops, Maxi even, recycle back the Maxi, special summon the Ghost Ogre that you banished. Absolutely disgusting. Or like the Inferno with Decatron or something, or if you're playing Lightsworn, you can do that. Man, that card was so freaking unfair. It was actually better outside of Zodiac than it was in Zodiac, which is one of the main reasons why, bro, it would need a errata. Anyways, Link Cross or Banana. No, I can't think of like an errata for this card. It's also a very simple effect. Guard Dragon LP. I don't really want to errata it either. I just want to like wait if the card will ever be fair in the future, and then we just unban it as is. Spiral Master Plan is a very interesting one because in theory, we could unban it, but then maybe Spiral would be like a little too good. But then again, Spiral is actually banned in remote duels. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, oh yeah, show me the cards, but yeah, I'm not gonna try to look, you know, on the screen. Yeah, bro, trust me, bro, I'm not lying. So yeah, you can play this card, play the deck in real life though, and it might be a little too good. So I don't know, maybe Spiral is not the kind of deck that we should try to have back in Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. Maybe if you hit like other things in Spiral, it could be fair. I don't know. True King of all Chlamydias, or VFD. Very fun dragon. The Vanisher, the Fathomer, the Disaster. Yeah, this is pretty much the only reason why rank 9s are scary, because I don't really care too much about one Enter Blatnir. That's a nice deck you got there. Fishborg Blaster. Yeah, this card is cheeks. Exactly just like Fiber Jar. Both of these cards are dog shit. Absolutely no potential whatsoever. It's just garbage. It's just completely power crept. Tier Elements Kid Kilos. I also just want to wait until this becomes like fine over time, just like Guard Dragon LP, because I'm pretty sure like one day we could unban these cards without an errata. It's not like these cards for sure where I can't really think of a way to unban them without an errata. Actually, you can argue like these cards maybe, but whatever. Yeah, these cards are like in the waiting list for sure. This one, I think it's Mind Master. It summons a bunch of psychic monsters from the main deck. Nobody gives two shits. This card literally does nothing. You have to tribute another psychic monster, so it's only good in psychic decks. And yeah, it's just not good. Just play the Punk Engine, just don't play any bricks. Diablos is the Mind Hacker. You don't really want to rot it either, so again, same thing as these cards. But this in tandem with like the Kashtira cards, that might be too much. Like looking the opponent's extra deck, banishing and locking every single zone, that's frustrating as shit. Block Dragon, again, same thing. I really don't want this card back. Curious, oh, I could actually see it go back to 1. Or we can restrict it to Lightsworn only. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, obviously we can't have like Curious and Fairy Tail Snow at the exact same time. So for now, I'll put Curious in this section. Or maybe like the other way around, like Curious here and then Fairy Tail Snow here. I'm not sure, but I really don't think that Curious is like that degenerate, to be honest. Sprite Elf, I have indirectly mentioned this card and also directly mentioned it a lot of times in this video because a lot of cards are banned because of this card. Yeah, especially looking at Cyberstein and Ronin Totem. Yeah, it was really Sprite Elf's doing all this time. So yeah, again, we can't try to unban both of these cards while also unbanning this. Maybe it would need an errata, but maybe it should just wait until it becomes like naturally okay. And then finally, Kashtira Rizard, same exact thing as Diablosis. Maybe one day Rizard will be fine to unban. It's not the kind of card that necessarily, yeah, it kind of breaks Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually. Never mind, I take it back. But yeah, that's it for this beautiful video of could these bad monsters get unbanned in Yu-Gi-Oh! You guys let me know how much you agree or disagree with any of my positioning here. By the way, if something is in a row or something, well, like in a category, the exact positioning doesn't matter. Like 1, 2, 3, nobody cares. What really matters is like where they are. Like are they in the green, yellow, orange, or red? Because a lot of these cards I truly believe cannot come back as of yet. They're way too good, or they have been banned way too recently. But yeah, you guys let me know how you feel about this video in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.